Hi everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to look at ice hockey in a way you probably never thought of before. We're going to peel back the layers of speed, skill, and brute force to uncover what's really going on underneath, a kind of secret operating system, a complex, self-regulating world that dictates everything that happens on the ice. So, let's drop the puck.
So let's just start with this big question. What if the game we all love is way more than just a game? What if it's actually a living, breathing system that has its own rules and its own logic? Imagine every pass, every shot, every check is part of this much, much larger, repeating pattern.
Okay, so to understand this system, we need a key. And that key is an ancient symbol called the Ouroboros. You've probably seen it. It's that serpent eating its own tail. It stands for an infinite recursive loop where the end is always the beginning. This idea is going to be our guide for unlocking hockey's secret code.
All right, so let's start our analysis at the biggest scale possible, the rink itself. I want you to stop thinking of it as just a sheet of ice and start seeing it as a closed universe. The original analysis has this great term for it, the unified manifold, which is just a fancy way of saying it's a self-contained world where the entire game plays out.
This slide really nails the difference between a hockey rink and other playing surfaces. Think about it. On a soccer pitch, the ball goes out of bounds, a whistle blows, and the play just stops. All that energy and momentum is just lost from the system. But in hockey, those boards and that glass create a closed loop. A missed shot isn't an ending, it's a brand new beginning. It's a carom, a rebound that recycles all that energy and keeps the system flowing. Every single output immediately becomes a new input.
And you can see the rink's whole cycle of order and chaos in action right here. As a period goes on, the ice gets all chewed up and rutted. That's chaos, or entropy, increasing. And then comes the Zamboni. I love this phrase. It's called the radiant chomp of the serpent. It literally consumes all that chaos and resets the entire system to a state of pure order, a fresh sheet for the next period.
Okay, so now let's zoom in from the rink to the players themselves. But we're not going to think about them just by their positions. Instead, we're going to look at them as functional parts of this larger Ouroboros system, where each one has a very specific role in keeping that loop turning.
So check this out. Each archetype serves the system in a totally unique way. The center, well, they're the relational hub that connects everything. The sniper, they basically exist for one reason, to finish the play, to complete the loop. The grinder brings the chaos, while the defenseman provides stability. And then there's the goalie.
And the goalie is the ultimate paradox. The entire goal of the game is to complete the loop by scoring. But the goaltender's one and only job is to break that loop. They are the anti-loop, this static force whose entire purpose is to just deny the other team's objective. It's fascinating when you think about it.
Now, when all these parts work together in perfect harmony, you get something truly special, like the legendary Russian 5 unit. This quote just captures it perfectly. They moved as a single organism, turning the unknown of open ice into the absolute certainty of a perfect pass. It's like the system achieved a kind of telepathy.
Okay, now let's zoom in even further. We're going down to the most fundamental unit of hockey time you can imagine, the individual shift. A player's turn on the ice isn't just a random burst of action. It's its own perfect, repeating loop.
Every single shift follows this 4-stage cycle. First, there's exploitation, that explosive jump onto the ice. Then comes conservation, where a player is gliding, positioning, and reading the play to save energy. That's followed by a release of action, a shot, a hit, a big play. And finally, reorganization, heading back to the bench to recover and reset. It is a perfect micro-Ouroboros of energy management.
And on a cognitive level, players are running their own little internal loop. It's called OODA. They observe, they orient, they decide, and they act. You know, the genius of someone like Wayne Gretzky wasn't just his raw skill. It was the insane speed in which he could process this loop. He was seeing the game seconds ahead of everybody else.
All right, let's zoom back out and talk about the forces that are driving this entire game. The whole engine of hockey is really fueled by a constant paradox, this ongoing battle between structured, predictable order and total random chaos.
This right here is the central strategic debate in all of modern hockey. You've got possession-style play, which is all about order. You maintain the loop of control, you carry the puck in. Then you've got dump and chase, which is about embracing chaos. You literally just throw the puck into the corner and bet that you can win the random 50-50 battle that comes next.
And here's another great paradox for you.
The enforcer. You'd think their role is just to create chaos through fighting, right? But systemically, their true function is actually to impose order. The threat of a fight, which is all governed by this unwritten code, is what prevents cheap shots and restores balance to the game. It's literally peacekeeping through the threat of violence.
And all of this, all these loops, all this chaos and order, it all leads us to the ultimate goal. The one thing that gives the entire system its meaning. The Stanley Cup. This is the moment when the serpent finally, truly bites its own tail.
You know, unlike other major trophies, there is only one Stanley Cup. The source material calls it a recursive totem. The names of every single champion are engraved on its rings, making the trophy a literal, physical loop of its own history. The past is always part of the present, and when the rings fill up, they retire the oldest one and add a new one, completing the cycle all over again.
And so, that's what we're left with. A game played in a closed loop, by players who are functioning in loops, all for a prize that is itself a historical loop. So you gotta wonder, right? Is the Stanley Cup the ultimate expression of this entire hidden system? The perfect Ouroboros containing all of hockey's history, chaos, and order in one single shining object? It's definitely something to think about the next time the puck drops.